the program's process set up this system so that they really encourage you to form teams fast and break up fast and move on. Many teams would iterate several times. This process sort of fostered this environment where people could just very freely talking to each other. You don't have to keep things too professional at the beginning. So that's really good. Here, one thing that was interesting was that I was talking to some Antler founders in the past, and many of them encouraged that people who actually eventually get investment or did a very good job are those who started working on something that they really wanted to work on from day one, because you only have 10 weeks, and in order to build a great product that has some traction that people might want to invest in are those who already have some deep connections in the network, are those people who kind of know what they want to do. What feels different from, for example, Y Combinator co-founder matching is that that these people are serious. They are devoted their whole time to this program for the next 10 weeks. You're not just randomly matching up with someone who's still doing a full-time job and might just want to help out, or they're only interested in your background and they hope that maybe you could get investment and then hop on later. But it's about, everybody's on the same boat and you have to make progress. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. This is Sean. I have just finished the first week of Antler incubation program here in London, UK. For this video, I'd like to talk a little bit more about my experience of it, and I'll continue to record the live in the next 9 weeks if this is interesting for you. I was sort of deciding to where to go for my next entrepreneurship journey, and I was based in the San Francisco office for my previous job. Left the job in April and traveled a bit in the United States and decided that I would move to the UK. The reason for moving to the UK is because I was sort of trying to find a visa that could allow me to be building products for the English-speaking world and potentially could expand into some other markets. So London became a very good choice because of the time zone and because of the friendliness of visas. I'm currently on this visa called High Potential Individual Visa, HPI, which allows people who graduate in the past 5 years from a list of universities. Happy to talk a little bit more about that in the future if they're interested. So this is week 1 of Antler program. It was a very interesting experience. Several things. Firstly, we had about 85 people in the program, and all the partners and some of the senior management group in Antler UK team were really wonderful ex-founders, or they have raised a significant amount of money in the past for their own startups or for some other founders for their personal funds. So you definitely get to sort of learn these very first-hand information about how to be a founder and how to be an investor. Because of this 80 to 85 people cohort, we actually had a really diverse backgrounds. Some people work in AR, VR hardware devices. Some people were in manufacturing. A few folks who are experts in healthcare, brain scientists, surgeons, or people who have worked on medical devices before. A ton of bankers, investment bankers, people who worked in finance before, and of course a bunch of tech people and folks who have a lot of experience doing sales or management, either for their personal products before or in a large company. So one thing I realized that there are a lot of ex-founders in the cohort, and many of them are looking for the next journey. They probably have exited multiple times in the past, raised a ton of money from the past, pretty much all over the world. So it's a very, really diverse cohort, and you get to learn so much from people around you. And also you get to realize that people's way of leading teams and building and connecting with people are so different. Some people are like kind of a military style. They want to really plan things in a very exact way, and then they want people to be mindful about here's a very clear schedule and very clear role division, because we have some workshops, right, and it really shows how people lead or try to step up and lead in these kind of workshops. And there's some other folks who are a little bit more chill, and they're customer people, they're sales people. They could just quickly hop on a call. They call someone who they know about a problem, either they're close friends or they worked together before, and they really have strong communications through these kind of personal connections. One key thing that the program was trying to share with us was that Eventually, if you want to build a product, there got to be someone who go out there and sell, someone who build internally, and perhaps someone who can, manage a lot of the operations, logistics things. Having such a cohort with such diversity is very important for people to team up and find, skill set matching with each other. Other than diversity, I guess the second thing about the past week is we all kind of know this is a professional setup because you got to talk to the founders, and people around you might be the person who you will build a company with for the next 10 years. But there's a quite amount of positive energy there to make friends and just learn from each other. Actually better than I thought, because I was expecting a little bit more from a utilitarian perspective. You got to optimize what you want for your next venture journey. But the program's process set up this system so that they really encourage you to form teams fast and break up fast and move on. Many teams would iterate several times by breaking up with co-founders and forming a team again, because of there's this system that could overwatch how you form teams and build products. You don't have to feel an extreme amount of pressure about, did I choose the right person or not. You can just be out there and match up with people who you feel like you had good chemistry with. And even if eventually, things don't work out, there's a system that might just jump in the middle and tell you guys, hey, this is not working out. You got to break up and move on. I think this process sort of fostered this environment where people could just very freely talking to each other. You don't have to keep things too professional at the beginning. So that's really good. The third thing I guess was interesting was we were encouraged to not bring a specific idea to the program, because Antler incubation is pre-ideas and pre-teams. You get a bit of a living stipends across the 10-week time, and eventually at the end of the program they decide if they want to invest in you or not. Because of the fact that there's a large group of people with diverse backgrounds, you are encouraged to just go explore ideas and try to find common backgrounds or common interest or synergy between the work you've done in the past or skill set matching. So we're encouraged not to bring specific ideas to another co-founder, but instead we are encouraged to go talk to people as much as we can. Here, one thing that was interesting was that I was talking to some Antler founders in the past, and many of them encouraged that, hey, people who actually eventually get investment or did a very good job are those who started working on something that they really wanted to work on from day one, because you only have 10 weeks, and in order to build a great product that has some traction that people might want to invest in, are those who already have some deep connections in the network, are those people who kind of know what they want to do. Yeah, I mean, this is the first week, so I guess a lot of us are still keeping an open mind and see what happens. Yeah, it's been a really good week. We had a lot of fun events as well. We had a trivia to walk around central London and just to go explore some sites and solve some riddles together. We had a lot of breakup sessions for smaller groups, for example, in teams of 6, teams of 20, to just go through our motivations, our values, go through things that some bigger topics like what is failure, what does it mean to be building a company that has a venture capital fit? What is a big enough market that you should target? You can find these information fairly easily from online, from YouTube, or just talk to Perplexity or ChatGPT. But being put in this environment with a lot of peers and somebody just reminds you right in front of your face, it's very effective, because you kind of get reminded that these are the important things you gotta keep in mind if you're being a founder. And again, last but not least, like what feels different from, for example, Y Combinator co-founder matching is that that these people are serious. They are devoted their whole time to this program for the next 10 weeks. You're not just randomly matching up with someone who's still doing a full-time job and might just want to help out, or they're only interested in your background and they hope that maybe you could get investment and then hop on later. But it's about, everybody's on the same boat and you have to make progress. And having this kind of expectation that everyone is committed is very helpful and make things faster, moving faster than you think. By end of week 1, I've already seen people who are teaming up, some people who have already broken up, some people have complaints about certain co-founders, and some people really enjoy having conversations with some people. And one really interesting is that I was talking to a few founders, and one of them was mentioning that it's just really good to also have a few folks who you can just have comfort breaks with. Like, you can sit down and talk about nothing related to co-founder matching and ideas. You could just do friends and talk about shit, and that's very helpful for this kind of intense environment. I guess one of the highlights was that we had a few so-called family dinners with the partners of Antler UK Fund. You sort of get to sit down with some founders in a restaurant, and we got randomly assigned to these restaurants without even knowing who's going to come to this restaurant. I mean, again, like we have 80 plus people, so dinner setup is like 6 people round table, and we sit down and have dinner and chat for about 2 hours, and you get to learn a bit about like the other side of your colleagues, your co-founders, and these partners at the Antler UK. Some of them just have really fun personal stories, and I mean, at the end of the day, we're all humans. We're social animals. We can just connect with each other and talk about stuff outside of work, like what do you do on when you're not working. So this is really good. Yeah, so I guess the first week, 10 out of 10. It was a good experience, much better than I expected. And I also told the team who was organizing a lot of the events that this was a great week. Yeah, I'm looking forward to the upcoming week. And for the upcoming week, we already have a pitch that we have to make. Like, so for this weekend, we gotta brainstorm a little bit more on what we want to build, and just share a little bit about like the co-founders you want to work with, and present together, share about your skill set matching and the industry you're passionate about, or if you have an idea, present the idea. And if you guys are interested in any of the things that I mentioned specifically, let me know, comment down below, and I'll keep this as a diary and then continue to update what's going on. Peace.